Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my FIFA 13 live team tutorials. And as you can see from the screen here, I am going to be playing with Chelsea today. The formation I'm playing with is 4-2-3-1, and let's dive straight in and look for a match. Now, one thing I do want to quickly mention before I get onto the commentary, I am going to be heading to a mate's house over the weekend, so I'm going to try and upload this tomorrow. I'm recording this Friday night. Going to try and get this up for Saturday, so hopefully you'll have at least one video when I'm away. And then next week I've got my graduation, so I'm going to be gone from Tuesday afternoon, and I'm probably going to be getting back about Thursday. So it's going to be tricky for me to make or upload videos there. So what I'm going to be trying to do over the next couple of days is get a couple of videos, recorded when I'm back from my mate's house, stockpiled up, and then I'll just have the ability to churn some out whenever I have the opportunity. So apologies in advance for a little bit of inconsistent uploading coming up, but let's dive straight into Chelsea now. I did not see who we're playing. They're playing Man City, so this should be a good match. But Chelsea are a very, very good team in this. Very great five-star team. They have a host of excellent players. When you look through this team, you see players like Ashley Cole, Eden Hazard, just so many good players. Petr Cech in goal, for example. Oscar, loads of great players. Hit it, Ramirez, not too far away that. And I'm actually using a new controller at the moment, so if there's anything strange happening, that's what I'm going to blame it on, the brand new controller. But they've got so many good players, Chelsea, and I've seemed to be saying this quite a lot about the teams I've been playing with recently, but they are really, really nicely consistent throughout the side. There are no bad teams. I mean, the worst two players in this team, I think, are the two centre-backs, which are David Luiz and Gary Cahill. And David Luiz has to be one of the best players to be 80 rated in any FIFA of all time. He's quick, he's strong, he's really tall, so he's good in the air. It's very, very few strikers who have a good day against David Luiz at the back, so he's a fantastic player. But I'm going to run you through the team and why I've picked them. So I've got, obviously, Petr Cech in goal. Absolutely fantastic goalkeeper. He really is a great shot stopper in FIFA. Very, very reliable. There's very few times he'll have a mess. So that's one of the reasons why I've gone for him, and that was a little unfortunate. So obviously Petr Cech in goal. I've gone for Branislav Ivanovic at right back. Now you could argue, if you wanted to be a teensy bit more aggressive, you could go for Cesar Azpilicueta at right back. But personally, I prefer Ivanovic there. He's nice and solid. He's not the most attacking fullback by any stretch of the imagination, but what he lacks in attacking flair, he certainly makes up for in defensive ability. Great on the ball, nice and strong as well. A very, very tankish fullback. And one of the key weaknesses for fullbacks is their aerial ability. So whenever you play 4 at the back or 5 at the back and an opponent puts the ball into the far post, what normally happens is a striker will peel off to the back post, and then he'll be challenging in the air against your fullback. And 9 times out of 10, your fullback is not going to be as good in the air as a dedicated central striker. So by having Branislav Ivanovic in that role, he's basically a converted centre-back. He's very, very good at what he does. And that wasn't to you, although Mata might make it work. No, Jolyon Les got swept across. So that's why I've gone for Ivanovic. Cahill and Terry, not Cahill and Terry, sorry, Cahill and Luiz, the two players I've mentioned. They really are excellent as well. Oh, nearly. Good tackle. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought Denver was about 4 yards offside there. But yeah, I've gone for Cahill and David Luiz at the back. The reason why I haven't played John Terry is because he is slow. And I've said before that pace isn't the most important attribute in a central defender, and I stick by that. But there is slow, and then there is completely and utterly immobile. And John Terry certainly falls into that. He has acceleration, which I think is 50. He has 47 pace. Don't miss that. And he's missed that. You are so bad, Juan. He has like 47 pace. He has about 48 agility, so he's so slow. He has the turning circle of a barge. He really is an atrocious central defender on FIFA. The rest of his stats are great, but if you have anyone who's good at dribbling, if your opponent is even slightly going for pace tramping, John Terry is going to have a nightmare. So you cannot really play John Terry against a great player because he's too easy to exploit. If you play to John Terry's strengths all game, he'll play very, very well. But against good opponents, they won't do that. So personally, and that was a terrible pass when one of my central attacking midfielders, my attacking midfielders with an acres there. So that's why I don't play him. And you just see there, David Luiz sweeps up so well. Gary Cahill does exactly the same. They are two excellent defenders. So those are the guys I'd recommend to play. And then obviously at left back, you've got Ashley Cole. Fantastic fullback, and he's a great foil for Ivanovic actually, because as you can see here, he does like to bomb up the field. That's a decent ball in, a bit unlucky there. But you've got Ivanovic on one side of the pitch, and what you were doing there, I'm not sure. just managed to get away with it there. But yeah, Ivanovic is much more solid than Ashley Cole. He's just, very, very powerful in the air, like I mentioned. But Ashley Cole gives you that attacking flair that perhaps Ivanovic doesn't on the other wing. Let's get the block off, get the corner. So you have a really nicely balanced back four. You've got a very attacking fullback in Ashley Cole. You've got one defensive fullback in Ivanovic, and then your two centre-halves are excellent. Hill and Louise. They play a lot better than their rating. So that's just a very, very nicely balanced team all around there. So let's slowly move into midfield. And as the two sitting midfielders, I've got Ramirez and I've got Frank Lampard, or as I quite often call him, Fat Frank. Hang on, that was another bad ball. So you've got Ramirez there, and Ramirez really is the engine room of your midfield. He has absolutely tremendous stamina. He has high work rate, so he will be buzzing around like a wasp in the midfield for you. He'll be back, up and down. He's absolutely tremendous. I really do like Ramirez. He's one of my favourite players on FIFA. And Demba, why did you stop your run there? I had to bail out that pass because Barr stopped his run and ended up shafting the ball. Good challenge. Oh, nearly. Opponent just punched that into row Z there. But yeah, Ramirez is tremendous. He really is the legs of your midfield. And that's useful because Frank Lampard is not the most mobile of players anymore. Oh, lag, don't screw me over now. Yeah, we go, Demba. Great finish. But yeah, Demba Ba, great finisher there. But let's talk a little bit about Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard has been steadily declining in ratings in FIFA for a long time as he begins to age. I remember in FIFA 10, Chelsea were my team. They were just devastatingly effective, and Frank Lampard in that central attacking midfield role, he really was very, very good. But as he's aged, his mobility's dropped a little. He's no longer the surging player, making those late runs into the box on FIFA. He doesn't do that as well anymore. But what he still does have is fantastic ability to pass, and I've put that chip wide. I always shank my chips for some reason. Now, he's really composed on the ball. He's got great touch. He can pass. He can have a few shots from distance. And he's a decent set-piece taker as well. So you can get him on your corners. You can get him on your free kicks if you want to have a pop from long distance. Lampard ticks all of those boxes. So whilst he's definitely worse than he was, he's still an excellent midfielder, and he's great to have alongside Ramirez because Ramirez really fills in for Lampard's weaknesses. So Lampard, like I mentioned, great on the ball, great at a lot of things, but he isn't the mobile player he was. So having Ramirez alongside him really does help in this lineup. And then this is the real strength of this team. You've got Eden Hazard, you've got Juan Mata, and you've got Oscar. Now I'm playing Oscar on the right, I'm playing Hazard on the left, and I'm playing Juan Mata in the middle. Now, Juan Mata, in my opinion, is the best of these players in this because he has just such silky ability. He's got 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot, which, as long as you don't try anything outlandish with his weak foot, that's not a big problem. He's just so good on the ball, and he acts as the linchpin between all of those midfielders. And what you're looking to do is get the ball to the feet of Juan Mata as often as possible, because, like I mentioned, his technical ability is so high. And what are you doing? Oh, that's a great ball, Petr Cech. Oh no, what are you doing, Petr Cech? But, get the ball to the feet of Juan Mata as often as possible when you play with this team. He really is excellent. And then, obviously, you've got Oscar and Hazard. Hazard is a bit more of the blunt implement. He's a little bit of a speedster. Like, for example, with that ball there, you can just dink the ball down the line. And that was a bit of shocking crossing there. But you can just dink that ball down the line very, very easily. Hazard will run onto it. He's a bit more of an out-and-out winger. Oscar is a little bit more of a modified central attacking midfielder. So I'm playing him on the right-hand side. He's nice and tricky. He's got great dribbling. I always like to be a little bit more direct with Oscar. I like to try and line a player up and take him on with a few little step-overs or whatever, or a fake shot, or do a give and go, and just keep the ball moving in that way. Oh, and he 50p'd that over the bar. It's a bit lucky there. But, those players... Pardon me, sorry. That was a bad time for a burp. But those players really are the strength of this team. All three of them, great on the ball, great at passing, got good shots, good first touch. They can tear pretty much any team apart. And then up front, you've got Demba Ba. Now, I've decided to go for Demba Ba over Fernando Torres because Demba Ba gives you something that Torres doesn't in this team. So if you look at the players you've got behind you, you've got Oscar, Mata, Hazard. What aren't they? They are not powerful by any stretch of the imagination. They are all tricky, small players, great on the ball, pacey. Demba Ba is a nice foil for them because he gives you something different. He's more powerful, but at the same time, he's not immobile. So he has the power to do damage to players. But if you like to play a passing game, or if you like to play on the counter-attack, and you know me, I certainly love to play on the counter-attack, as you can see from this. he can fit all of the boxes. But at the same thing, you see, he won that header. If only I didn't podge it back across the goal instead of trying to have the shot, that probably would have been a goal there. But you get to see how Demba fits in nicely. So you can play the ball into your feet and spin off. You can play it long if you're under pressure, but also you can play those little lob through balls over the top like that. Ooh, very, very close. And he really does fit into all of the boxes. So he's an excellent player, and that's why I've gone for him over Fernando Torres, and that is the starting 11. And bearing in mind, with this squad set, you've got players like Florent Malouda, you've got Cesar Azpilicueta on the bench, you've got John Terry, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, you've got a lot of depth on the bench there. So Chelsea have a fantastic squad. They really can deal with a couple of injuries and you won't be affected. So, I tried to be far too cute without the pass was on. Easy pass. Always keep it nice and simple when you're playing FIFA. Don't need to do anything too outlandish. Just knock the ball into space and run. And then hit the low cross. That's a bad cross, that. Oh, sniff Demba. Oh, nearly, lads, nearly. But the reason why I've gone for 4-2-3-1, which is the formation I've gone for, is pretty much like I've mentioned. The strength of Chelsea, undoubtedly, is their 3 attacking midfield players, the Oscar, Mata and Hazard trio. They are really tremendous. And this is the only formation I feel that you can get them all on the field and have the most effective use of them. Because before, what I used to do is play 4-1-2-1-2 with this in the pre-January squad update, because Oscar's had quite a little bit of a boost. He was just a flat 80 rating, and now he's an 82. So what I used to do is play Torres and, oh, come on, Hazard. Oh, that would have been a great goal. So I used to play Torres up front, and who did I play up front with Torres? I really can't remember now. But I used to play 4-2-1-2. I used to play Ramirez holding. I used to play Frank Lampard in behind, and I'd have, Mata and Hazard as the wingers. And I don't like that anymore. Because, like I mentioned, now that Oscar's come on a bit, and now that Torres has had a little bit of a rating drop. Oh, deflected wide. That's so unlucky. Now, I prefer this formation. And the great thing about playing 4-2-3-1 is you get so much space with those central attacking midfielders. There will always be one of them in space. And that's all you need, really. Is it worth a pop? Nope, it isn't. If one of them gets in space, you'll have a great time. You can just see here, Hazard was in the middle. Oscar got a little bit of space on the right. Bought the tackle, got a cheap corner just from one little bit of passing. And then it gives me the ability to put the ball into the box. And you've got David Luiz and you've got Demba Ba in there. Come on, Aiden. Come on, Aiden. Roll him. Ugh, let's pass it. Oh, he's dragged it wide. But you begin to see the game plan here. Chelsea are a team that definitely benefit from passing. If you can pass the ball around, you're going to have a lot more success with Chelsea than if you just lump it upfield. Oh, that was so unlucky. He tried to skip on inside onto Mata's left foot there. But, they really are a tremendous team. If you can get the ball down and knock it around, and this is where, Frank Lampard really comes into his own in that CDM role. He's not going to be putting in lots of challenges for you, but when you do get on the ball, he takes up nice positions. You can just knock it around. Oh, if I could actually pass, you can knock it around. But, this is really Chelsea's strength. If you are struggling a little bit, you can play defensive counter-attacking and punt the ball at field a little bit. Bit speculative there. So you can go long to Hazard over the top. Or, for example, off this goal kick here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go direct to Demba Ba. I'm trying to win the header. And then when the ball's flicked down, I can just lay it off to a midfielder. Oh, if the referee doesn't block me off first. And then Ashley Cole's bombing up the wing. Check it inside back to Lampard. Into the feet of Ba again. Try and spin it off, but he had a bad touch there, unfortunately. And I've rushed up there at a bad time. But this is where Ivanovic comes into his own. Fingers crossed. Be strong, Branislav. Oh, did well. Just forced him wide there. But, this is what Ivanovic is good at. Azpilicueta there would have completely failed. He probably would have conceded a goal because he doesn't have the power that Ivanovic does. So that's one of the primary reasons I go for Branislav. Oh, that was a great little touch there. Check, what are you doing? Well played. He just knew what he was doing there. But you can see, as long as you're just quick on the ball, and he's playing high pressure now, because obviously it's not long to go in the game, so... Oh, he got away with sneaking that one in. Good tackle, Fat Frank. Let's lay it off. And this is where Chelsea are really effective. Demba's just onside there, I think. Although Kompany's at... Oh, that is tight. That is really, really tight. Let's have a look at this. Oh, linesman. I would have given the benefit to the striker there. But yeah, you begin to see how Chelsea work. And it would actually be nice if I could win a game by more than 1 goal when I'm doing one of these comments, just to show you a little bit more effectively. But oh, it's a bad touch, Juan. After I've been waxing lyrical about how good your ball skills are, you do a touch like that. There we go. Ashley Cole. Juan Mata in space. And this is where Chelsea are dangerous. You cannot give players like Mata this much space, because he just dinks the ball in behind and I ram bar out the way then. That would have been a great through ball. But, you know, Chelsea are a tremendous side, and I heartily recommend trying them out, because I've seen quite a lot of messages from players saying they struggle with Chelsea, and I find that pretty surprising. Because, you know, Chelsea are a really, really good team, and I don't understand why people would struggle, because they just have everything you need. They've got a bit of pace, they've got a bit of power up front with Bar, they've got lots of technical ability, they've got players who can take free kicks, they've really got everything, you know. They're a complete 5-star team. Yeah, obviously, you're going to struggle when you come up against teams like Real Madrid, but Real Madrid are just a little bit ridiculous on FIFA. You know, Ronaldo is a monster. And there we go. You know, this is a quick tip here as well, right at the end of the video. I've had a few questions from people asking me how to deal with players who like to play a lot of high pressure. And you see here, you know, people are trying to push pretty hard at me here. And what you need to do is move the ball as fast as possible. You do not want to be dallying on the ball, because as soon as you dally on the ball, a guy will have a challenge. So lots of one-touch stuff, like you can see there. Dink the ball through, and I've already ripped him apart. Oh, prod it. You know, I really can't finish recently. That's something I definitely need to practice. But you saw there, you know, he had high pressure on, just a few quick passes. I got through him very, very easy. Had the ball over the top, missed the chance, and that's the game over. Yet another 1-0 win. It wasn't quite the domination that I had in the Belgium game, but a very, very solid performance. Let's just have a quick look at the old match stats at the end. Hopefully, if my opponent bothers to press X anytime in the near future. Oh, he's backed out. Oh, what a shame. Well, never mind. I don't get to show you the match stats, obviously. He must have pulled the Ethernet cable out the back of his PS3 because he was very, very unhappy that he lost. Never mind. But anyway, guys, you saw how to play with Chelsea a little bit there. You know, try and get the ball to the feet of your 3 attacking midfielders. You know, the Oscar, Hazard, Mata trio. Those are the strengths of your team. Get the ball into feet. Lots of little 1- and 2-touch stuff. Keep the ball moving. Keep making those through runs. So hold L1 and X so you do the give and go pass. Make the runs in behind. And you're going to have a lot of success with Chelsea. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.